Welcome. I'm your host, Dustin,
And I'm your co-host, Dean.
and joining us today is, for the second time, is the Witch City horror queen herself, the amazing, spooky Kay Lynch. As a short little intro for anybody who doesn't know who Kay is, she is the founder and festival director for Salem Horror Fest. Kay, how you been?
Pretty good, thanks. Happy spooky season.
Yes, and we're kicking it off right with you, and I know we have a bunch of awesome things lined up. Well, that you've actually been lining up for everybody. Kind of pre Salem Horror Fest is Video Coven, and I guess to kind of start everything right off the bat, you want to explain what Video Coven is to everybody?
Sure. So I moved the festival from October to April, which sounds a little counterintuitive. I know everyone wants to be in Salem during October, but for anyone who's actually been here during that month, it's a clusterfuck. It's so crazy. Salem's actually a really tiny city compared to its reputation. So it can be fun. It is a really cool time of year. Obviously, it's autumn, Halloween. But I'm telling you, honestly, it is not the greatest experience that you could have the closer you get to Halloween, just because, I mean, unless you love like that Mardi Gras kind of feel, where you're just like shoulder to shoulder with people. Personally, I'm not a fan of that. And then also with COVID, it made it even that much more complicated to deal with. So we've been doing this for 5 years, and I thought it would be time to kind of go into another end of the calendar to make things a little um, more flexible for people. Because in addition to it being such a tight, cramped space, that inflates all the costs, the prices, the hotel rooms, the flights, everything becomes more expensive, and they get booked further out. So a lot of people want to come to the festival, can't, whether like the costs are too high or they just didn't book on a year in advance. There's nowhere for people to stay. So the last few years, I've been kind of like stuck. Not really, it's been a great 5 years, but like my available audience has been mostly people who just happen to be here because they had plans to be in Salem, and maybe they found out about us once they were here. But a lot of people who want to come specifically for us have been kind of blocked out from that experience. And also the locals, we all stay away
Yeah.
in October. So I have so many people in the area, in the region, who are like, I'd love to come, but nowhere in hell am I driving to Salem in October. So I've been like, all right, I'm like marketing this teeny little sliver of people, and thankfully been successful at it. It's been a really great few years. But you know, that's not who I started this festival for. I started this festival for hardcore horror fans and filmmakers, and I want to make it easier for them to attend, to participate, and really create more of like a communal experience. Like when you go to a convention or a lot of these other film festivals, you get the lanyard, you're like in this, in the same space for, a few days at a time. So you really get to kind of get to know people. I've always thought like my goal is for when people come here that if they go to a bar afterwards, they'll see another person in the lanyard and be like, "Oh, hey, I'm here for Salem Horror Fest too," and that can become a little bit of an icebreaker. As it is now, if you come in October, you can't even get into the bar.
Yep,
It's like,
that's
or
true.
it's
Does
so
it
great.
does it get that busy then in October?
Yes.
It's
Is it insane?
it's
Wow.
it's nuts, and it could be fun. I would say like once, like if you want to come and do it once, like it's an
Mm.
experience. Not one that I would love personally, just because it's too many people. And again, Salem is actually a really small city, so it's like if we were a bigger city like Austin, Texas, there'd be a lot more room to spread out.
Exactly.
So Video Coven came about because once I moved the fest, the cinema was like, well, hey, we don't want to give you know, you've been developing a programming here in October for the last 5 years. We don't want you to lose that opportunity and like that kind of stage time
Yeah.
that you've had here. So before we give it up to anybody else, is there anything that you would like to do? And so that got me thinking, well, I still, like, with all respect to the tourists, even though I'm moving the fest to accommodate a different segment of the market, I thought this could be a really cool opportunity to establish an annual program that is kind of, it's not exactly this, but it started out as sort of like a best of, or like the highlights of. So, an opportunity to bring back some films that, were standout, hits of the festival, or I feel like didn't get enough attention that they deserved. Or, like, for example, in 2020, we had to do the fest all virtual. We had
Yep.
no live screenings. And it ended up being a really cool experience. And one of the reasons for that is because it allowed us to really double down on the indie films. And we had like 25 features, maybe 30.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was, yeah, it was. But it allowed us to, one, reach out to the global community, and it showed how much people really were eager and hungry for that sort of content, that DIY spirit. Because it can be difficult to market these low budget, no name films to people, to kind of to capture their attention, because they have like no context. And previously, when I was really limited to like a certain sliver of people, it was a harder sell. So the first few years has been a big mix of repertory and incrementally introducing more and more indies. The going virtual, we couldn't license repertory stuff. We did a couple, but it was very expensive and complicated. So we doubled down on the indies, and the response was huge. Not only from the audience, but the filmmakers themselves too. They got really involved, and it was really special.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
But they never got their film screened, like physically on the theater. And so that's a big kind of thing, special experience that we offer being in Salem, is saying that your film got to play in the Halloween capital, the screen in the Halloween capital of the world. So some of the films that I've programmed for this fall are films that never got their proper due, or their full proper due. So for example, like The Strings was our jury winner in 2020.
That movie is, it's so good. I've watched it so many times on Shudder. I've recommended it to everybody. It was like my favorite of that year, and it's such a great film.
It was many people's favorites of that year, so it deservedly won our jury award. And so we're presenting that film live in a theater for the first time. A couple other films that Threshold is another indie darling that got picked up by Arrow.
Yep.
I love this movie. It's so cool. I bought the Blu-ray, and I'm just so excited for the filmmakers, Powell and Patrick and Joey and the whole team. But this is the first time the film has ever been screened in the United States. Death Drop Gorgeous is another one. Now that has had some local screenings.
Yeah, and also friends of the show as well.
Yes, they're the sweetest. I love them. Their film won the Audience Award, and which is awesome. Like, again, I do not disparage our virtual experience. I think it was amazing and truly special. But I want to see this movie with an actual audience, like live with other people. So again, that's another film that we are screening live for the first time. Additionally, like with my partnership with the Romero Foundation, I've been doing a lot of cool work with them. The fellowship program being one of them. So, like, for example, two of the filmmakers that won our Romero Fellowship opportunity, which is a mentorship program where the filmmakers are selected to work with mentors like Trevor Stephen and Jen Wexler. And they're one of those films, Landlocked by Paul Owens,
also a friend of the show.
Yes, he's so sweet. And again, another amazing film. It's like a super like no budget, high concept sci-fi, which is like my favorite. Like
Yeah.
it's incredible what someone with like such a big vision can do with very few resources. And I think his film Landlocked really pulls it off beautifully. So we're bringing that film back. We did get to screen it last year. And now Alice Mayo McKay, her debut feature, So Vam, won our jury award last year. We did screen it live, and she was also a recipient of the Romero Fellowship, working with Jen Wexler. The film got picked up by Shudder and has been starting to build an audience. Much like Death Drop Gorgeous, both are quick horror films. And Alice herself is a trans filmmaker who is now 18 years old.
Yeah, that's so nuts to me. It's so nuts.
Yes.
Anything's possible, guys.
Anything. She just turned 18. Before she turned 18, she finished production on her third feature film, which is not been announced yet.
Yeah, it's crazy.
News is coming soon. She's just so talented, really sweet. We are premiering her second feature, Bad Girl Boogie.
Hell yeah.
Which is a queer horror slasher. Her first film, So Vam, was a queer horror vampire, like teen vampire movie.
Yeah.
So we have this sort of like, I don't say a grab bag, but like a mix of films that are very different, but they're independent voices mostly, and they, at the time that we first presented them, were relatively unknown. Because once you begin the festival circuit, it becomes this thing that if you're successful, if your film kind of like connects with its audience, it can grow and build, and the response from that gets the attention of distributors, and so then those films get picked up, and then they make their way to Shudder or Arrow or more traditional outlets for like VOD, for like Dark Star Pictures or Dark Sky. Epic. We worked with so many, and then the profile of the film and the filmmakers themselves continue to rise. And so I really see this Video Coven series being an opportunity to kind of continue that lifespan of a film, and to give new opportunities to these filmmakers to present their film with to an audience that has a little more context of what this film is, or who the filmmaker is, what kind of voice they have. So then people can go, oh, I heard about this film. I'd love to, or I saw it on Shudder. I'd love to see it on the big screen. So that's kind of like what this series has become. And I'm really excited about it. It's going to be super fun.
I love that, because you always think, once a movie kind of hits, the festival circuit, and it's the, the movie of the moment, or everyone's kind of talking about it, and then it kind of dies off a bit. But I love the fact that you kind of try and keep it alive and keep it going, and keep, new audiences, sort of get new eyes on it and stuff like that. I think that's a really cool idea.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I hope it really connects with people. We're doing it on Thursday nights, except for this Friday. We're doing one this Friday, but otherwise everything's on Thursday nights. So we're hoping to get some of the local people to come, because obviously the weekends are a lot crazier. And just to get people back in the theater again. And just one other aspect of the festival, we do have three repertory titles that we're going to show. Creep Show, it's the 40th anniversary of Creep Show.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one.
Wow.
It's such a great film. And we're going to celebrate the film itself, and of course everything Romero. And for the holidays, we have Black Christmas and Silent Night, Deadly Night. That one's just for fun.
Hell yeah.
That one's for funsies, just because, I don't know, those are the type of films that we watch every year regardless. And actually, I did a holiday horror in this podcast last year.
You did. And that was super fun. So.
It was super fun. Another great, Dial S Code Santa Claus. Is that the full title?
Yeah.
Yes, so those are three repertory films that everybody knows. And then the only other aspect of the program that I want to mention is that our very last double feature of the year. This is like the end of December. I'm doing a double feature of two films that I wanted to premiere at the festival. They were films that I wanted so bad, but for different reasons, we weren't able to snag them. They got picked up by other festivals before us. Um, and those films, they're two films that are like some of my favorites from this year. And so that slot is going to be my program of like the ones that got away.
Hell
And
yeah,
so
I'm excited.
they're really special films. Deadstream is one of them that got picked up by Shudder, and it's like, how do you explain it? It's like Blair Witch meets Evil Dead. Like it's um not found footage. What is it, like screen horror? Like it's a live
Yeah,
stream.
yeah, that's probably like the best way to describe that. That's like at least
Yeah,
what I've been seeing everybody describe it as.
screen horror. Yeah. It's really really funny and horror that's kind of slapstick. And a social commentary on just like YouTube um lifestyle or like
Yeah.
um and then the other one is a film that I saw at Boston Underground called Medusa. And let's see, how can I explain that movie? Let's just say for me it was like, for anyone who likes Hello Mary Lou, Prom Night 2, like this movie to me, it shares a sort of like similar kinship with that.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
it's wild, it's violent, it's horrific, but it's funny, it's really queer. And it's very, yeah, it has all the middle fingers towards like traditional values and religion, and it's just, and it's like um, very brightly colored. It's a lot of neon greens and pinks, and it has Susie and the Banshees on the soundtrack. So
Oh,
that,
awesome.
Oh
that like secures its place in my heart forever. Yeah, so I'm really excited about those. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I've been I've lived in Salem for almost 20 years and have been doing, even before Salem Horror Fest, have been doing events here. And so I'm really grateful for the opportunity to continue that and to still be a part of the season. And essentially just kind of extend the life of the
Hell
festival
yeah.
in a way. So it's gonna be like 1/10 of what the actual festival is. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's received and how it goes, because this kind of approach is new for us and a little different, which that is not that doing something new and different isn't necessarily new and different for us, because the last few years, every single year, we've had to like
Yeah.
reinvent the festival for one reason or another. And so we've learned to be nimble.
Yeah. And that's another thing I really like about the festival, though, is because it's always fresh. It's always doing something different. I mean, you bring back certain elements. Like last year, you did the live in person thing, and then later on in the year, you did it virtual for people who weren't able to be there to watch it. I thought was really really cool, and that I'm glad that you're still holding on to certain things like that, and still keeping some things in October and throughout the year to kind of feed people like me, who's going to be at every single screening of the Video Coven stuff.
Oh, good.
So yeah, I bought my badge and everything. I'll be
Thank
there. I'll be
you.
there actually this week. We just had Chris on the show too.
Yes, I saw that.
So I can't wait to finally meet him in person and grab a physical copy for myself, because when I went to go get them, they sold out. So he said he's gonna have a few there. So I
Oh,
will.
good. Yeah.
I'll be definitely grabbing one, and I'm sure you'll be around too. So
One
it'll
for
be
me.
awesome. Yeah, I'll grab one for you
Yes.
too, Dean. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Chris LaMartina, he is and also an alum of the festival. So this is the sequel to WNUF, Out There Halloween Mega Tape.
Yep.
The film that we premiered last year of his was What Happens Next
will scare you. It was so good.
Exactly.
Oh.
And that was our audience winner of 2021. And so he, like Alice, and her film Bad Girl Boogie, were showing their new films, whereas we had, had the opportunity to screen their previous films last year. And so I don't know, I just really like the idea of creating this sort of, it's like so like cheesy and tired to refer to this as a family, but like, like a community of filmmakers, that it's like you don't just pass through, show your film, and that's it. Like, we
Yeah.
want you to come back. We want to see how you grow and see what other ideas you have. So it means a lot to me and to our audience when filmmakers come back with something new, because the purpose of this festival is to give platform to these filmmakers, and to just really try to find these new voices and to connect them with the audience, because I think there's this misinformed assumption that there isn't a big market or appetite for like micro budget
Yeah.
film in general, obviously horror in our case. But when it comes to horror, I think like more than any other genre, we are hungry for
Yep.
something new, for something fresh, and we don't need it to be expensive. We don't need it to star these big names. We just, for most horror fans that I've ever met, and I've met a lot, like we want just something original and something interesting, something we haven't seen before. And speaking from my own experience, I watch a lot of crap. Like I watch
Hell
in
yeah.
order to find that special thing, even or that special moment or that idea. Like I'll just keep watching and find various things to appreciate about most of the films. But it's that pursuit to find something new and exciting, that keeps me going. And you if that's truly what you want, you're not going to find it at the AMC. I mean, every once in a while you will. Like, I don't want to completely disparage, like big budget films. Like Malignant was
Malignant.
a,
Oh
a
yes.
bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
But if you want to see the weird stuff, if
You
you
gotta
want
go to
to
festivals.
if you want to see something you've never seen before, you have to go to the festivals. Not only for the features, but especially for the shorts. Like even more so. Like I think what
I got it right here.
yeah,
All the
yes.
award winners.
Yes. I love Twitter Entertainment, and
Hell yeah.
it was so cool to see.
I picked it up as soon as it was available. I was like, I need that.
Oh, thank you.
Give it to me right now.
The shorts are there aren't many avenues to like to feature them, but there are, like, because of the streaming service, Shudder does a pretty good job, more than any other service that I've seen, with giving a platform for short films. And it's a shame because well, like with the submission, like, I see all the submissions that come through, and I would say like 15 to 20% are features. The great majority of what we receive are shorts, but we only have so much time allotted to show them. And it's really a shame. So I would put limitations on the length so we can maximize the number of filmmakers we can feature. And every year I increase the program and find different ways of, like, we gotta find more and more ways to, like,
last year was really fun too, with that, because you did like hour blocks, I think, for the beginning of, I think, almost every day, right? You had it because you had it at the church. So you had two different screenings, and you broke it up, and I really liked that.
Yeah, there were two-hour blocks.
2 hour blocks. That's what it was.
We had 4 hours total.
Yeah.
In addition to that, we partnered with Alter, and we had, I forget how much, like 30 films that we showed there. We featured 20 music videos on our YouTube channel. So like it was a lot, and still like there was a lot of great stuff that we couldn't include. So I'm always looking for ways to just like expand the opportunity to feature these filmmakers, but also to just find ways to try to encourage people to seek these out because um yes, the festival circuit is where you see weird stuff, but especially in shorts because when you only have like a 5 minutes or 20 minutes or whatever, whatever it is, like you can get away with much weirder stuff
Yeah.
in a shorter amount of time.
I've seen some
Um,
batshit shorts at festivals, some real crazy, but they've been brilliant though. They've been really, really good. I've seen some
yeah,
I saw a crazy Norwegian short. I can't remember what it was called, but it was literally like, what did I just watch? But it was great.
Those are the
So,
best, though.
I
yeah.
can't remember what it was
Well,
called. I'll have to try and dig it out and send it to you. But it was yeah, it was this
fantastic.
really small little horror festival somewhere outside of Liverpool, somewhere. We went along to the Bijou, tiny little it's called the Bijou Theatre, and they run a lot of shorts, and some of them are absolutely bonkers, but they were brilliant. I never would have seen them in a million years if I hadn't gone to this festival. So
Yeah. What's great about shorts is that you don't need to stretch out the idea to like a feat, like
yeah,
you can just
Exactly.
have one awesome, fucked up, weird idea
mm,
and just make that. Where with a feature, you have to find a way to stretch it out. Like that idea,
yeah,
in a lot of cases, that idea is not enough for a feature.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, so if you truly want to see weird shit, the
Yep.
the shorts are where to go, and it's also the bar of entry to do it. Because you first of all, it's all just you're only limited by your own imagination. So whatever resources you have available, you can develop something that you can pull off. And no matter what, like you can come up with an idea that you can create for $0. Now, having money makes everything a little easier.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but there's like no reason why anyone couldn't make a short. They're only limited by their imagination, and so because of that, you get a much wider diversity of voices of the filmmakers. You get much more not only people with like different ideas, but people with different backgrounds, and unfortunately, it's still the feature submissions that we get. It's gotten a lot better over the years, but like we're constantly looking for black filmmakers, for queer filmmakers, for women filmmakers, and they're out there. There's fewer of them and they have fewer opportunities, and so when you go to the shorts, there's a lot more voices represented, um, in different countries. Like we've had shorts from like at least 100 countries in the world that we've
Damn,
received
that's awesome.
wow,
over the
That's
last 5
awesome.
years.
incredible.
I'm gonna try to find that number because I love to know exactly what it is. But it is amazing. It is incredible, and again, like there's never enough screen time that we can
Yeah.
accommodate as much as we could, as much as is deserved, just because there's so much out there. And I just really encourage everyone to seek them out because there's a whole other world, another dimension of like really interesting ideas that are worth exploring.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you. I mean, I'm sure you don't know a number, but like, how many movies do you get sent? You must get sent thousands of submissions to go through, and it must take so long just to sit and watch. Well, I mean, it's a great job as well, just getting to sit and watch loads of different horror movies if they're good. But
Well,
but yeah, you literally must get sent so many movies to go through.
yeah, we just crossed like the 1,000 mark, the
Oh,
1,000
wow.
threshold.
Wow.
Not for this year yet. We're projecting, last year we got 1,000. We're projecting that we'll exceed that because every
Yeah.
year we've doubled submissions from the previous year. So,
Wow.
so
Great.
obviously when we started, it was a much well, when we started, I was afraid no one was gonna submit, so I didn't charge any fees. I was like, I just want people to send us their stuff. I want to
Yeah.
see what they got.
Yeah.
And we did get a ton. We got like 600. And I was like, oh shit, we gotta watch all of these. So we did have to, in our second year, we did have to start doing the fees, unfortunately, because it was just otherwise we'd just never be able to give everything a fair, or fair, like a equal attention,
Yeah.
and fair assessment of the films. And so, but then after that, I think it was like once we instituted the fees, it was like 300. The next year was 600, and then it was 1200.
Wow.
It was very close to doubling every year, and so last year was 1,000, and so we're expecting more than that.
Do you watch all of them?
I do not. I started.
Yeah,
I started
that's a
watching
lot of
all them.
movies.
Even last year, I did not watch all of them last year, but I do watch all the features, and I try to watch as many shorts as I can. And then it just got to the point where it's like, I can't.
Not enough hours in the day.
Yeah, 'cause I'm like,
in a year.
I'm the box office, I'm the web administrator, I'm the
Yeah.
marketing PR person.
Yeah.
I'm like, I
You're
have
everything.
a lot of other hats to wear. So thankfully, that's where our jury and our screeners come in. So we do have
Yeah.
a great team that's always evolving and growing, to watch them and to give feedback as to what they think of the films themselves, but also like which films they think might be a good fit for us, in particular, because we're also kind of have sort of like, oh, how do I say this? Like sort of like set sort of themes that we're looking for, or like goals that we're trying to achieve with the films that we show, or like a what's the sensibility that,
Okay,
like,
yeah.
like Salem Horror Fest, I want it to be known to have like a wide, diverse array of voices.
Yeah.
And I want to really showcase innovative ideas on like no small budgets or no budgets. So like DIY punk spirit is really important to us. And so there are some films that might be like super polished and really heady, or I don't know, overly sophisticated. That doesn't necessarily mean it's, we show
Yeah.
films like that, but there isn't, we're not always looking for, or very rarely are we looking for like mainstream viability. Like we're for what's weird and what's interesting and what's unique, and
and you nail all those, by the way. You do. The festival, it's always hitting all those marks, and that's another reason why I love attending every single year, is just to see how diverse it is and how crazy things can get. And also with you always showcasing, local horror movies like Mass Hysteria, like you did last year, I think was absolutely awesome. And also being friends with Nick Verdi, who did Caucasoid, and and we're actually me and Aaron are part in his new movie. So like we're in his new movie that he just made. He sent me a rough cut of it.
Oh, tell me, I want to hear more of this movie.
It's okay. I'll tell him to message you. I think he's finishing up some stuff with
Oh, that's great. Nick
with
is so
music.
sweet.
So I think he said in January is when he's going to start looking for festivals. So I'll have him message you for sure.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
It's a crazy one. It's completely different than Caucasoid. I'm just going to say that right now.
Well, I would not expect anything different. Well, anything other than crazy from him. And it's always so funny too, because like it's the people with the most fucked up ideas are like the biggest sweethearts.
Exactly.
Every time. Yeah, well, and so last year we started our program, Local Mass Hysteria.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And I instituted that because we receive so many submissions now, and when our screeners are going through and rating and reviewing them, they're not necessarily looking to see where they're from. That information is part of the the submission, and it's always interesting to look at, and for in different contexts we'll look to see like, oh, like, what are our international program look like, and this and that. And unfortunately, there's the the local stuff don't always make it to like the highest rated stuff. And it's not to say that they're not as good or as worthy, because it's so competitive that a lot of good stuff just doesn't make the cut in terms of the Wicked Shorts program. For example, last year we had to make a cutoff. What was it? It was like anything that had a rating of like 8.8 or lower did not make it into
Oh
the festival.
wow.
So the stuff that we showed was like high eights or higher. And that leaves out a lot. There's still a
Mm.
lot of really great stuff that I personally love
Yeah.
that was, like 6 or 7. And so I wanted to come up with a way that we still were a festival to champion our local voices. And so I came up with this program, Local Mass Hysteria, that specifically looks at the submissions that are from Massachusetts. And we put together our program based on that. And we did it on National Indigenous Peoples Day. And it's like typically a holiday Monday.
Yeah.
And we make it free and open to the public. And just to celebrate these films and the filmmakers, and to kind of, develop and encourage a sense of like hometown pride. And Massachusetts in particular, we have a very active and successful film office. Like our in Boston, we have they're essentially like a lobbying group that goes to film industry and says, film your TV show or your movie here, and you get tax credits and all kinds of stuff. And so we do have a really good track record with that sort of thing. And so I really want to encourage and help facilitate like the grassroots of that, to not only be welcoming people from outside of the state to come make films here, but to encourage the people who live here to do the same.
Yeah.
And so the Local Mass Hysteria program is a way to celebrate them. And also a lot of times when these films go out to the circuit, you can't always bring your people with you. So if your film gets shown in, I don't know, like Pennsylvania or California or whatever, and you're from somewhere on the other side of the country, your family and friends, maybe some of them will come, but most of them won't. And so I think this is also a really great opportunity for the filmmakers and their friends and family to come and celebrate with them. So last year was our first year, and it was really cool. It was packed the entire day. And it was just, the energy was a little different because it was full of people who either know the filmmakers or just want to participate in that sort of hometown pride.
Yeah. And it was really, really cool. And being able to see a lot of those films, win some like audience awards, or, going on to being successful, and some of them still being in the festival circuit, which will happen. Some movies don't get picked up, but that's okay, because it's more chances for more people to see in other festivals. And I don't know, Salem Horror Fest is just so much different than any other festival I have attended, and I like that. I love how it's so diverse and different, and also how, okay, you do everything yourself, and I don't. Hats off to you. I don't know how you've been doing it 5 years and getting bigger and bigger, and especially next year. Like, holy shit. Like, I can't imagine the amount of pressure that you have to do all this, and there's never a dull moment with this festival. Even when it's not going on, you're always supporting films throughout the year, always talking about them on social medias, or doing interviews, or doing other showings throughout the year. Like, you're going to be doing the Paranorman talk, and I'm going to be there. I'll be there.
Oh, good.
So I'm going to bring in my son as well, so he'll be there. It's going to be a really, really cool time. So I just love how active you are outside of the fest and how supportive you are with horror in general, and that's a really really good thing, especially this day and age, you know.
Thank you. I mean, I'm very grateful and fortunate for the opportunity, and I don't take any of it for granted, which is why I am so active in
Yeah.
trying to, because I also know it's really difficult to for any film to be made, and a lot of films never get the proper reception that they deserve. And so when I started this festival, I was well aware that like Salem is on everyone's bucket list. You know, I mean, you
Yeah.
can go anywhere in the world and people at least recognize Salem, mostly for what, you know, not the greatest
Yeah,
reasons.
yeah.
But but that is an advantage, and something that I try to leverage for the benefit of these filmmakers, because um, it's it's just it's a platform that you know, there's a lot more well established festivals out there,
Yeah.
and a lot, you know, I look up to them, I respect them, um, but I don't think we'll ever be them or at that level, not because we're incapable of it, but because they already exist.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we don't need more of them because, um, you know, the like quote prestige pictures, or like, you know, the ones where all the celebrities go to, and it becomes like this bidding war for, you know, $1 million productions. Those exist. What doesn't exist, or what I believe there's aren't enough of, is opportunities to showcase the ground level, the grassroots, the people who, you know, pick up a camera like George Romero
The
did,
punk
and just
mentality.
exactly say we can do it ourselves. And again, that's why partnering with the Romero Foundation is really important and special to me, because I believe that the spirit that he embodied in his approach to filmmaking is very much um, the type of filmmakers that we want to encourage, but it's also the type of spirit that I try to embody with the festival. And I think one of the reasons why I've been able to keep this up um, is because, like, I'm not afraid to show the edges.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean? Like,
I do appreciate that a lot
it's
too.
it's hard work, and I'm not always the best at it. I make mistakes, or I struggle, or, you know, I present I present you know, a program, or like sort of a level of production that I wish was more, but I'm still beholden to, you know, certain restrictions and resources too. And I see that as an advantage,
Yeah.
because the boundaries that like prevent you from doing unlimited opportunities forces you to be creative. And I think I'm okay with people seeing me sweat when I do it, because it shows that they could do it themselves too. That like
Exactly.
this is not magic. This is a lot of hustle, a lot of happenstance, a ton of um, pram, qualities or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
circumstances have allowed this festival to make it to its sixth year. And I think that we've we've brought a unique approach to it, but anyone can do it. Anyone who wants to do it can do it. And there's no shortage of films out there that are looking for an audience. So I'm grateful for this opportunity. I'm grateful for the platform that we have. I'm grateful to be in Salem, and that so many people want to be here anyway.
Yeah.
And you know, I really hope that we can continue to, make Salem known for something else.
Yeah, not just all the brutal
um,
slayings.
yeah, I mean, we
I
can
paid
never forget.
my first ever visit to Salem in April, just gone.
With
First day
me.
with Dustin showed me around, yeah, and yeah, what a fantastic place. It's such a shame that there wasn't a Salem Horror Fest going on when we came to visit, because I think it was the back end of April, Dustin.
Yeah,
I can't
it was like the middle of
mid-April,
April. So
and it was really quiet, wasn't it? It was so quiet. It
Mhm.
was, in fact, there were
That's yes.
a few things that were closed. Like I think was it the Nightmare Gallery was shut, and I was like, oh man, I
yeah,
really wanted
In
to see
April?
that. Actually, I think it was
Oh.
the day. I think it was the actual, because we were only there for a couple of days. We
yeah.
were
They only
kind of
had select days that they were open, and of course the days Dean was here, they
Oh,
were
yeah.
closed.
we were staying in New York, yeah. So we got the train to meet Dustin and come and hang out. And I think the days that we'd picked to come was like a Tuesday and a Wednesday or something like that.
Yeah.
So it was very quiet, and I was like, damn it. But we got to see so much of it, and yeah, it's a beautiful town. It's really cool, very cool.
Yes,
So,
it is. And it's going to be, as you saw in April, it's a lot more elbow room.
Yeah,
oh,
So
yeah,
we're gonna own that city. We're gonna own the city next
yeah. I
year.
can't
I'm
wait.
so
oh,
excited.
it'd be such a great vibe. Yeah, I love that.
Dean, I don't know if you had any questions you wanted to
Yeah, there's
throw
a few
forward.
things I was thinking of. Actually, you mentioned the Garth, the George Romero Foundation. I actually know one of the guys he's the UK representative, a guy called Colin. I don't know if you
Oh
know him.
yes, Colin's great.
Yeah, Colin's a good friend of mine. Yeah, and I'm a vendor at they do a convention over here called Weekend of the Dead, which is
Mhm.
and the guy Marcus is a good friend of mine that runs that. Marcus and Dave, and I'm actually going to be vending at the one coming up in November this year. We've got like Greg Nicotero's there, and there's a whole bunch of cool guests. But yeah, they're great, man. I love the George Romero Foundation, kind of keeping that Romero spirit alive as well. It's fantastic. And I was
Trevor,
lucky enough to meet the great man once, many years ago. I got to
really?
Yes, it was many years ago. I had to get out of bed at like 6:30 in the morning and stand in a queue.
Hey, it was worth it, man.
It was him and Greg Nicotero actually. They were both doing a signing in a toy store in London, like 20 odd.
Uh,
Wow,
that's so
many years.
cool.
Damn.
What a lovely guy though. What a lovely guy. So yeah, questions, Kate. I'd say if someone was a first time goer at Salem Horror Fest, if it was their first ever visit, do you have any tips on how to kind of have the best experience?
Hmm.
How to kind of
Well,
plan?
when it comes to Salem in
Yeah.
general, I've done a big part. I've, been, I've helped you out by putting it in April because anyone who wants to come in Salem, I would recommend that they not come in October. So check. um,
Yes.
um, there are so being in April, all the hotels are going. There's going to be availability at all the hotels.
Yeah.
If you really want to get the full experience, stay at one of the hotels downtown.
I suggest Hotel Salem because it's right there, and it's also
Yeah,
great.
Was that the one we stayed in?
Yes.
Ah, yes, that was a nice hotel. That was a nice
yeah,
hotel.
it's very nice. And I mean, there's the Hawthorne Hotel
Yeah.
and Salem Waterfront Hotel and some other um hotels and like inns and B&Bs and Airbnbs, and there's a smaller accommodations, but they're all downtown. And so, and Salem's a very walkable city.
Mm,
So if you stay within that parameter, you're going to be able to walk everywhere, which is super
mm,
convenient. Um, there are a lot of places that I would suggest people go to. Um, one of my inspirations for the festival, and this is going to sound a little weird because Salem is such a tiny city,
mm.
is South by Southwest. And
Oh, okay.
I say that because I was a marketing director for a dating app, and I threw parties um, in Austin during South by Southwest, not as part of the festival itself, but what was so cool to see is that like the entire city comes alive with the presence of that festival, because you have industry and all these different aspects of like creators and filmmakers and tech people and gamers, and they all descend upon Austin. And yes, they're spending a lot of time at the festival, But while they're there, they're going to drink at the bar or to party and check out other, eat at the restaurants
Yeah.
and experience Austin, Texas, um, outside of the festival as well too. And so I really wanted to make sure that when I do this festival, I'm not trapping people in a dark room the entire time that they're here. I want people to come and experience the city in addition to a program. And so I will program at various venues in the downtown area, different types of programs. We do more than film. We've done art galleries and concerts and uh, exhibits, a wide variety of things. And very much encourage people to go from one venue to another because they'll get a better, more mm, uh, global experience.
Yeah, be more
Mhm.
fulfilled.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so um, it's there's a lot of vegetarian options.
Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a lot, like Salem is a restaurant city. We have so many great restaurants. I really
I
encourage.
highly suggest Howling Wolf if you like Mexican food because they are
Oh,
amazing.
that place.
Yeah, brought
Is that
Dean
the
there and
taqueria
he
place
he
we went
loved it.
to? Dude, I ate so much in that place. I
Wow,
literally,
the big portions.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how big the portions are going to be. Not like how measly portions we get over here in the UK. I think
Wow,
the
here in
burrito
America.
was like the size of my head. It was huge.
Yeah,
It's great though.
yeah.
I'm very thankful for Brewbox actually because that place now I discovered putting cereal into the milk and having
Yeah.
cereal milk coffee. I do that now with
Oh,
all my coffee milk over here. It's cereal. I don't know if you know that one, Kate. Do you know?
no, what
Now,
is it?
Dustin, you
Yeah,
probably explain it better than
Brewbox,
me,
the one
Dustin.
that's right on Essex Street. It's right by the it's a little coffee
Oh,
shop that's right there.
mhm. Yeah, we have a lot of coffee
Yes, we
shops. We
do.
have a
Yes,
lot,
there's a
yeah,
lot. Yeah,
a lot of bars. We have barcades, like Bit Bar is a really cool place to hang out, and we're actually gonna be doing our parties at Bit Bar.
Hell
And
yeah.
yeah, they have a new location that's like much bigger, and Counterlux. You have to go to Counterlux. I'm sorry you missed it when you were here, but
Oh,
next time
Yeah.
you gotta check it out. I have worked with James for like 15 years, various different ways. And I've been in into the museum countless times, and it never gets old. Like every time I'll go in there to have a meeting with him, and I'll just immediately
yeah.
like
Yeah.
get
Yep.
lost, just become like a little girl looking at all the monsters. It's a really he puts so much like heart and soul into it. It's just so well lit and um so atmospheric. It's really
Wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Um and the spirit of Salem is really cool because there'll be rainbow flags everywhere. We're super progressive and welcoming city. Not just in June, like the pride flags are year round.
Yep.
They're either flags hanging or stickers in the window. Super trans inclusive. A lot of artists live here and create here. A lot of progressive minds, very politically active, um, a lot of hippies at St.
Yes.
Miss.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, we have it's a very kind of weird in the sense of like you know you want to hang
Beautiful
out with the
place.
weirdos, like
Yep.
that's where all the cool people are.
And
Cool
everybody's so
people.
welcoming too. That's the one thing I
Beautiful
really
people,
love about
man.
Salem.
Yeah, it's so welcoming, which is actually kind of unusual for Massachusetts
Yeah,
because
yes, yeah. Us massholes.
Massachusetts, yeah, I mean, we're very, I think Massachusetts people are very loving and caring, people, but we don't show it.
Yeah.
Like we don't, we're not, and I think a lot of it is because it's, cold for most of the year. So we've got this like exterior, but that's not in Salem. Salem is very much like, there's the university, so it's a college town. Um, but it has so many nice and interesting people, and part of that is because you know aside from the witch trials, Salem has a really interesting history when it comes to being a port city
Yeah.
because we're one of the oldest cities in the country. and it our bay, our in particular our Pickering Wharf was one of the most influential for a long period of time, and we imported goods from like lots of spices from and sugar from Barbados and spices from India, and so we were always bringing like goods through our city, and different cultures came along with it, and so for a good period of time we were the sort of like trading posts for the rest of the world,
Yeah.
and so I think it kind of like even to this day we're sort of this revolving door of different people from different backgrounds, and we attract sort of very intellectually curious people, and people who want to meet someone new, or different, or just kind of like learn more about other people or other ideas. So I think that that's carried over to this day,
Yeah, for
and
sure.
that's one thing that I think people will really notice when they come to sound, is that it's just like I'm biased. I'm so biased, but honestly, like I couldn't live anywhere else. I really couldn't.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to come back and visit again next year and hopefully work with the festival as well. But I'm so excited because I think when I came to visit in April, we was here for such a short amount of time, and we managed to squeeze in a lot of different things. We saw a lot of different
Oh,
things.
yeah. I made
But
sure.
I'd like to take a bit more time, really, just to explore it. Explore all the different everywhere. Just kind of really take it all in. It was a bit overwhelming because it's my first ever trip to the USA. I'd never been to the States before, so
Oh my goodness.
we kind of landed in New York, and then we'd spent some time, a couple of days there, then to meet Dustin. And Dustin and I had never met before, so we
In
kind of
person, at least, yeah.
it was kind of that, and then also
Oh,
seeing
fun.
Boston, seeing Salem, and then we kind of went but to see the Ice Nine Kills show in Connecticut, and then back to the whole that we did all this in the space of a week, and it was so
Nice.
overwhelming. It was so overwhelming. My mind was just blown, and even though I kind of look back over photos from Salem, and I'm like, wow, we actually did that.
Yep.
We actually went there. Wow.
Yep.
So
Yes, I love that.
I can't wait to come back and really spend more time there, just exploring everything and feeling it out a bit more and getting a real feel for the city. And yes.
For such a small city, we have a lot to offer.
Yes. Yes. It's true.
It's a really special place.
There was actually one other thing I wanted to ask about the festival. So what are we going to be expecting this time around? Since it's bigger than ever, it's in a different time of the year. I think is it longer, or is it the same amount of days as it's always been?
Yeah, same 2 weekends.
Okay, so we still get the 2 weekends. Is there anything different that we can be excited for?
Well, everything in terms of the program will be different. We'll have obviously different films in the competition. The parties at Bit Bar. I've actually not announced that yet. So
So we're getting some first times right here.
But there's more to come with in relation to that. There's like 2 parties in particular that are going to be a little extra special with what we're going to do with them. In terms of like I do have like about 10 guests confirmed, and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
still working on some others. I think a lot of like the format will be very similar.
Okay.
So like we have the 2 weekends at the cinema. Will just be a gauntlet of indies.
Hell yeah.
We've got I'm not gonna say that. We've got some people, some familiar faces who are going to be coming back.
I think I could probably put 2 and 2 together.
Probably. Over the years we've established some tent poles, or like kind of our tradition, and so there are a few elements that we're keeping alive. There are some people who have come in the past but haven't come in a couple of years who are coming back, some new people. that's all I can say right now.
Okay.
Partly because some things are still in flux,
Okay.
and partly because I still have time
Yeah,
to
yeah.
add more.
I mean, that's what it's like when you're the one person that's handling all this stuff. So yeah, time is very valuable, and you
Yeah.
being here and taking some time away from doing that stuff is we're very thankful.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Dean, I don't know if you have any other questions you wanted to ask.
I'm good. I think you guys have covered everything. Yeah, I'm just now. I'm super excited for April.
Hell
Awesome.
yeah, hell yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm good this end, man.
All right, and
Well, so good
okay,
to meet you, and I look forward to meeting you in April.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can't
yeah,
wait. It's gonna be fantastic.
yeah,
And
and
I'll see you on Friday.
yes, you will, and all the other showings and everything. Um, Dean, I'm gonna have to buy you a badge, so just let me know because I
Yes.
bought the video coven, so I just gotta get the badges now. So I'm gonna end up doing that. Support you as much as we can with anything. Is there gonna be donations as well? Can anybody like donate if they can't like make it?
um, hmm. Well, one thing I haven't instituted this yet, but one thing that I wanted to do was create a system for people to actually, we did this last year, but
Yeah.
not public, not like forward facing. It's just something I did behind the scenes. We had some people sponsor tickets for others.
Oh, okay.
So if someone
Like a
can't make,
gifting type thing.
yeah, so
Okay.
we did have someone come and say like, look, I'd love to buy 10 passes for people who can't afford them. And so I was able to um I'll reach out to a few local organizations and just say, hey, I got some passes available for anyone who would like to come. So that's something that I really want to expand upon this year, and just to broaden the opportunity for more people to participate. And I really don't want there to be any unnecessary like barriers of entry. So that could be one way if people would like to sponsor someone else's ticket. That would be a really cool way, or becoming a sponsor in general. We have like the screen advertising and stuff on the website. Um, yeah, that's it for right now.
Okay. Okay. Cool. I was just curious about that.
Yeah.
So that's
Thank you
cool
for
being
asking.
able to sponsor other people's tickets. I like that, and we're probably
Mm,
gonna end up doing that through the show. So we'll
mm.
we'll talk after the show about some things that I have in mind. But yeah, this has been super insightful. Like always, Kay. Every time you come on here, I just love listening to you talk about everything you're super passionate about. It's the stuff that Dean and I are very passionate about, like horror. Just especially this year, and I guess even a year before. Like we're really in a horror renaissance. Like there's
Seriously.
so much stuff out there, and it's kind of tough to keep up with everything. So going to a festival, getting getting time blocks of these movies that you haven't seen, and actually being able to set the time aside to watch them is always really really cool. And the Salem Horror Fest has always been my go-to fest for the past 4 years. So I've attended
Wow.
4 out of the 6. So this would be my 5th year, which is
Oh,
going to be awesome.
that's
Um,
so cool. Thank you. That's really cool.
yeah, and just seeing it grow too over the years is very influential for anybody out there who's either doing a festival, making movies, or doing a podcast like us. Like just seeing things grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger it's really really heartwarming, and to be able to support something that I love and know that you love just as much because it is your baby. This is your brainchild. You made it huge. Like I feel like it's so big that I don't even think you know how big it is. Because like I'm like that too with our show. Like people listen to it, but it doesn't feel that big. But when you see people talking about it, you're like, holy shit, this is
Mm-hmm.
this is
It
huge.
it
And
grows a life of its own. But honestly, like what we're talking about here is like there is with like the internet, so the
yeah,
Twitter and Instagram and all the you know Fangoria, Bloody, Remorg, all the podcasts. There's countless of there's this all this conversation. There is a community.
yeah,
Um, but it's like this big amorphous cloud of conversation that exists, and there are different pockets and different voices within it, but it's just kind of like the ether. And so when I think about the festival, I try to think of it of just like it is a physical place to bring that here,
Yeah.
or to like capture it in a bottle for a period of time. So like that is how I approach it, is that like I participate in all these like corners of the community because I want to know what people are connecting with, and who are the new voices, and um and try to find ways that I can give them a physical presence. And so that makes my job that much more easy because it's
Yeah.
like it's already out there, more than anyone could ever fully experience, which is exciting because you'll just never find the end. You'll never find, the edges of this thing. But like, as far as I'm concerned, the festival is out there. It's just waiting to be discovered, or waiting to be to experience it in Salem. And
Yeah.
so yeah, I'm so glad that we have connected. I'm so honored that you've come so many years. Thank you.
Yeah. And for as long as this is going on, I'll be attending, and Dean will be attending too. It'll be his first year, so he's gonna be
Can't wait.
he can't wait. Like every single
Uh,
day, he's just like, I can't wait until April. I can't wait until
I
April.
see. I love a horror film. I absolutely love a horror film festival. But to go to a horror film festival in the US. That's a dream come true for me.
Yeah, well, if the United States knows anything, it's horror.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, I've grown up watching, American art. Just yeah, I love it. And yeah, to be out there and like you're saying earlier on, there's nothing quite like actually being in a cinema or in a theater with horror fans watching a movie, like everyone's reaction together. It's great. I love that. So yeah,
Yeah,
to be over there doing it at Salem Horror Fest, that would be a dream come true.
it's gonna
Definitely.
happen.
Can't wait. I'm booking my ticket now.
Yeah. um, but I think that's all that we have to ask you, Kay, because you cover everything, and I can't think of anything else to ask. So if there's any last words that you wanna, tell anybody listening or watching, um, go right ahead.
No, just keep an eye out for April, for announcements for April. They're coming, and just watch something you've never heard of. Like, just keep taking chances. I mean, not even just in horror, just like
Yeah.
find the things that make you uncomfortable, or fill in your blind spots. Just like keep looking, and because it's out there, and support the voices, support the people out there. As all these studios and streaming services buy each other up, and you have this consolidation of media companies, the type of content that we're going to get is going to be watered down and just like so much more IP centric, which there's a lot of like IP that I love and
Yeah.
appreciate. I like IP is not inherently bad or like evil or whatever, but like it is leaving out so much really great art and ideas that people like you and I um, are creating or are capable of creating. So if we keep supporting those people, more of it will not only exist, but it will reach more audiences.
Exactly.
So I guess last thing I'll say is watch something you've never heard of and
Yes.
share it with other people, especially people
Absolutely.
who won't seek it out. Just I think one of the things I love most about horror people is that when we see that thing that's really special or interesting, we're so eager to tell someone else, you
Yeah.
gotta see this. I can't be the only one who witnesses this.
Exactly.
So just keep doing that. But do it for the people who are making the biggest sacrifices, taking the biggest risks, and just like pouring everything that they have into these
Mm.
smaller projects, because like the film Landlocked, It was literally a zero budget film about a very big sci-fi fantasy
Yeah, it's so good.
concept. And that is the magic of film and just like storytelling in general. So um find those projects. They're out there.
Yeah. And I agree.
Definitely.
I agree.
I guess we've been doing that with the Screenbox, actually, Dustin, recently, haven't we? We've been sort of building up a relationship with those guys, and then they've been sending us screeners through of films that no one, especially anyone in the UK here, because we don't have Screenbox over here yet, but they
Okay.
would never hear of these movies, and they've been sending us through some real bangers, man, some real
Yeah.
awesome, awesome
Pussy
films.
Cake.
Pussy
I love
Cake.
it.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god,
Yes.
what a great movie! It was so good,
And they're all super nice too.
I've been speaking to so many people saying you've got to check out this movie Pussycat, and they're just like, "What? What's that? What's that?" And I'm like, just watch it.
Yeah, that's an example of watching something that you're not really expecting to turn out amazing, and you're just like, "What? That is so good."
Some of the movies they're sending us are incredible, like really good.
Yeah, like
And
when the
I would
screaming
never,
starts, really, really good.
yeah, really good film, really good film.
Yeah. So everything is out there. You just gotta look a little, and Salem Horror Fest is like it's just a little taste of what's really out there. So if you really want to come and build a whole experience, not just for being in Salem, but to be there with the community, because the community is really, really awesome, and I've made friends, like filmmakers or just anybody in the audience, from going to Salem Horror Fest and supporting everything that you've been doing, and also what you've been doing for all the other filmmakers and everybody else. Just everybody's supporting each other, and that's what this is all about. Is the support and the love and to be there for everybody. We're not there to bash somebody and say, "Wow, this film sucked. You should go kill yourself or something," because you hear that a lot. And this festival is not for that. It's for the support and the community and the growth and the chances. And that's the biggest thing right there, is the chances. And hey, I thank you, and I know everybody else thanks you as well, for those chances, and to have you coming on for the second time to talk about the show that I hold so close to my heart. And I tell everybody about, like Dean in the UK. I tell him about it, and he's never even been here. And I built it up, and I was like, "You're gonna fucking love this festival." And just like everybody else, like family members aren't really into horror, who have attended a couple screens, like, you know what, this festival is really,
They
really
will
cool.
be.
Yeah, so it's just it's so awesome, and I really do thank you for everything that you do. I know you have a lot on your shoulders, but thank you, seriously, from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I think this is pretty much all that Dean and I and Kay has to say. I mean, just keep your eye out, follow Kay and Salem Horror Fest on socials. You can go on the website to get all the other information, look at everything that's going on with Video Coven. I'll have all the links down below, so you don't have to go searching all over the place for it. It'll just be right there. And Kay is very active on social, so I'm sure if you have any questions, just shoot her a message.
Too active.
A little too, yeah. And Dean, you'll be bringing over some UK folks, so we're going to be getting a lot of people to join this. So it's just going to be getting bigger and bigger. You're going to have to make this a year-round horror fest. You ready for that, Kay?
I will do it.
Let's do it. Let's do it. A year-round horror fest.
Imagine how many films you'll have to watch then.
Oh my god.
We'll help out. We'll watch some for you.
Yeah,
it would
for
be
sure.
honestly the best problem to have. So
yes, for sure. But I think this is pretty much it, and we're gonna be signing off. Kay, it's a pleasure and an honor to have you on anytime. Just as before, if you want to come on and do horror movie review or anything, I know you're super busy, but DMs are always open, and you are a friend and you're part of the family. And just being able to talk to you, even like this, and seeing you also at all the festivals, it's very surreal. It's super surreal. Like, to me, you are a celebrity. I mean, you may not feel like that, but to me, you are. And just to see your growth too, even just you personally, and really coming into your own with transition, feeling like yourself. more and more each day, it also makes me extremely happy. So support. Thank you guys for listening and supporting this show and supporting Salem Horror Fest any way that you can. This is us signing off. Was the Barrens Hideout Podcast. I was your host, Dustin.
I was your co-host, Dean.
And that was the amazing, spooky Lynch. So thank you guys so much. See you on the next one.